There's something that is very common with singers, and that's the desire to sing very high notes. Now, today I'm going to be sharing some tips on accessing the higher registers of your known vocal range. And we're going to be learning a thing or two about how best to tackle those songs that require higher notes, the higher registers of our voices. And that's what's coming up. Hey, I'm Akurios and I'm back again with another edition of Vocal Wonder this Wednesday. And today I'm sharing some tips on how to strengthen the higher notes of your vocal range. So first of all, you already know what your vocal range is. You already know the classification of voice you belong to. But the issue here is that you want to strengthen the higher registers of your voice. You want to learn how to sing those songs that require higher notes. You have responsibilities in your choirs, in your groups, even as an artist, to sing songs that, have to bring out your voice better. Songs that demand that you raise the pitch and sing really high. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you about this is that first you have to understand your vocal range. You have to understand your voice and you have to identify what your vocal range is. And then we can now break it into registers. So we're dealing with the higher registers of your vocal range. And if we're dealing with those higher registers, what we want to do is strengthen the notes of those registers, because naturally those notes are going to want to sound a little bit weaker than the ones a little bit below the middle of your vocal range. So it's established. You already know your vocal range. You know what classification of voice you belong to. But what we want to do, we're not trying to extend the vocal range. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not going to be extending the vocal range. We're looking into the vocal range. So if you know your vocal range, that's what we're dealing with. And then what we want to address is strengthen the higher registers of the vocal range, the notes that you can already produce. But we need them to be stronger. We need you to be more comfortable. Now take note of the word I used, more comfortable. You were able to produce them comfortably originally. That's why they belong to your vocal range, these notes. But we want to increase the comfort. We want to increase the ease with which you sing and produce those notes. And that's what this video is going to be about. I'm just dropping a couple of tips and I'll show you one or two things that will help you achieve this on your own. So let's assume, for instance, that your vocal range is, say, from F sharp 2 to C sharp 5. Okay? Now, if this is your vocal range, oh, that's fantastic. Then we're using you as the example. Okay? But let's just take this for example. Now, the higher registers of your vocal range being all the notes contained here, from the very lowest sounding one to the highest sounding one. Okay? So we have all of them, all the way to C sharp 5. Now, but the issue is your C sharp 5 may not be as strong as, say, your C sharp 4. So you're struggling a little bit. You can produce it, but it's not as strong. And the songs that you have been given the responsibility to perform contain a lot of these notes that are in your higher registers. So we can address this with a simple exercise. Now we're just going to be singing the tonic, the leading note, and then back to the tonic. And we're going to be using the R syllable. So we're enunciating, making sure that the tone comes out clearly. And we're concentrating on the higher registers because that's what we're working on now. So we can begin from, say, key A. Okay, and what we're going to be singing is just la 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 la. And then we modulate. So when we sing all the way to the limit or to the end of the vocal range, and then we concentrate on that section. And I'll show you what to do if this discomfort continues. Okay, just assume that it's a little bit difficult for you to sing. Your vocal range could be anywhere, but just as an example, this is what we do. Okay, so we begin the exercise. La, 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 la. And that's the C sharp. La, 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 la. Okay, so let's assume that it's quite difficult to pronounce or to produce, to phonate. So what you're gonna do is come down to C, la, 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 and continue. You have to repeat this exercise. Repeat this section. We can go down. The neighboring notes that are just a couple of semitones lower than the higher registers, if those notes get stronger, definitely the higher notes will follow suit. They may not be as strong as the lower notes. They may not be as comfortable as the lower notes, but they will get more comfortable over time. So the trick is to repeat the exercise. Repetition is the mother of perfection. If you want to be perfect at something, if you want to be very good at it, you have to keep repeating it. If you want your voice to be smooth in these higher registers, you have to keep working on those registers that are a little lower than the treble register. Okay? Quote and unquote. Remember, the vocal cords are muscles. The muscles that make up the entire singing mechanism need to be worked, need to be exercised. They need to be trained, developed. You need to remind them of the kind of work that they're going to be doing so that they get used to it. So we can try this again. Then if you feel a little bit comfortable with the C sharp 5, then you can go to D. And then these notes in the higher registers begin to become more comfortable. And that's one of the tricks that you can use to easily sing one of these songs that require higher notes. So if you're having trouble reaching the high notes, then work on this. As you repeat the exercises, as you repeat continually, hitting those notes that are not as high, those notes that are higher become easier because the vocal cords become freer. The singing mechanism now begins to adjust to this particular register. And the more you sing those registers, the easier it is to sing them. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments, and if this has been helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and tap the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and subscribe right now and get in touch with me, ask your questions, and I'll be glad to get back to you. Okay, so till next time when we see, I'm Akurios and I'm out.